close enough to 5:30. We're going to get this meeting started. The City of International Falls regular city council meeting for August 15th, 2022. If you could all join me in pledging allegiance to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
All right, thank you all. Please note that all the members of the City Council are present tonight for our meeting. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. To the best of my knowledge, there is no additions or deletions that are needed for this evening. So the chair would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Councillor Holden. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councillor Kraus. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye. I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. We'll go on to the approval of the minutes. The first set of minutes are from August 1st, our regular city council meeting. Chair would entertain a motion for those minutes. We have a motion by Councillor Buller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councillor Deach. Discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye. 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 Aye.
I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Now we'll go to last Monday's committee of the whole meeting. Chair would entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll make that
We
motion.
have a motion by Councillor Holden. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Councillor Fuller. Discussion? Call the question.
Aye. 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 Aye.
And I will vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. We'll go to the payments and claims. We have a resolution before us. It is the first piece is about the transfers. Going to the 401 Permanent Improvement Fund is $66,666.66. That's coming evenly distributed from the 601 water and the 603 sewer in the amount of $33,333.33. Both of those numbers will go to additional transfers going to the 403 Reserve for Capital Outlay, $25,760.42. And that's coming from the 601 water in the amount of $19,136.17 and the 603 sewer fund in the amount of $6,624.25 for a total of transfers of $92,427.08. Accounts payable, City of International Falls claims of $469,351.73. And airport, I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying airport claims. We have none on this one. International Falls Public Library claims of $9,101.50 for total accounts payable of $478,453.23. The chair would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councillor Kraus.
Second.
We have a second by Councillor Buller. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye. 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 Aye.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. We'll go to audience. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to bring anything to the attention of the city council? All right, we'll move on. There will also be an opportunity at the end of the meeting if you so choose. We'll go to the consent agenda. We have one item on the consent agenda. It is to allow the necessary expenses for 3 public work staff to attend the MnDOT Fall Equipment Expo in St. Cloud, October 5th through the 6th, 2022. Chair would entertain a motion to move forward with the consent agenda.
So
we have a motion by Councillor Buller.
second.
We have a second by Councillor Deach. No discussion. Call the question.
Aye. 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 Aye.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, we get to new business. We have a letter of accommodation presented to investigator Joshua Maston. Chief, would you like to come up and introduce?
Sure, all of you know Investigator Maston, but I thought it'd be a good idea to have him come in here. And I know he likes meetings, so. You've all read the letter I presented. Kind of behind the scenes details with Investigator Maston. For the last 10 years, he's headed all of our narcotics investigations. It's something that doesn't get a lot of recognition just because he's putting out fires before they start. what really impressed me about when I became chief and kind of started looking into everything was that he, like I mentioned before, has led investigations into narcotics in a lot of the bigger jurisdictions that the Albany Task Force is affiliated with, which is amazing considering the size of our community. I think it points to not only his good work, but also the potential of these dangerous narcotics to enter, which he's been established. I thought it was appropriate, just given the amazing work he did in this most recent case of 10-pound methamphetamine that was stopped because of him for coming and joining jurisdictions. I know he doesn't like to talk a lot about himself, so I'm kind of doing it for him, but I wanted you guys to just understand just how important he is to our department and the community as a whole. I know he doesn't get a lot of that recognition.
So I see that we have council action on this. So I'm wondering what a council action do we need to accept?
I just wanted you guys to acknowledge that he received this because I wanted him to come to this meeting. But I also wanted everyone to be aware and the public to be aware just of the good work he's been doing. I don't think it gets enough public.
Well, the chair would definitely accept a.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Councillor Kraus and a second by Councillor Holden to acknowledge the letter of recommendation. Call the question.
Aye. Aye. Yes. Aye.
And I will vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so very much for the good work you've done. Please. Yes, definitely. Or,
You want some photos up front? Want some photos?
thank you. I find that incredibly interesting that he said, I'll take my photos outside. I mean, he's humble. He just got an award and he's being showcased for exemplary service. And he says, we'll just go take some photos outside. Wonderful, wonderful officer. And we're very happy to have him on our force. Should have put that last. That should have been the last thing on the agenda. That way we would have sat through the meeting longer. All right, we'll go to some of Monday's Committee of the Whole recommendations. The first one is to approve Minnesota Rural Water Association's funding to cover engineering costs for the water treatment rehabilitation project and to adopt resolution providing for issuance of the sale of $772,000 in temporary obligation water revenue note, Series 2022A, and pledging net revenues for the securing thereof. Chair would entertain a motion. We have a motion by Councillor Holden. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second by Councillor Buller. Any discussion? Please.
Okay. We do have Mr. Mike Bubani on via Zoom to just give an overview, and I think I did put the email in front of you that she had sent me earlier today. So I think it'd be great if he just kind of gives you a quick little overview of this as well as for public information and understanding exactly what the steps are like.
Okay, please.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
100%.
Great. I'll just tell you that I can hear the mayor loud and clear, but everyone else is a little choppy. So if I have any questions, Mayor, if you could forward those to me.
I'll just make them speak into their mics.
Okay. Well, just very briefly, because I understand you have enough business tonight. My name is Mike Bubani. I'm with a municipal advisory firm called David Drown Associates. We work with Minnesota Rural Water Association with their various loan programs. But don't be confused by that title. What we're talking about is the issuance of a municipal bond. Statutes require when cities in Minnesota borrow money, they structure their debt in the form of a bond. And you have multiple options available to you in the sale of those bonds. But the first thing I would point out is that this debt is being issued on a temporary basis. A temporary financing is available to you regardless of the option you choose in terms of sales method. It's just one that says you can push off the principal for up to 3 years and have interest-only payments in the meantime. You can call the debt at any time without penalty or prepayment fees. You are allowed, if for some reason you do not get your project underway and long-term funding in hand by the end of 3 years, rules allow us to roll this over one more time. So in effect, getting 6 years if we need it. We don't anticipate that's the case. When Mr. Brokaw reached out to us regarding funding options for this, I had suggested that Minnesota Rural Water's MIDI loan program would be a good option. This is nothing more than a direct bank placement program of a municipal bond, but without the need for a broker, which saves several $1,000s in the issuance. And what I explained to Mr. Brokaw was that when we have smaller issues, and they're short term, which could be paid off anytime within those 3 years, interest rate is always important, but issuance costs become more and more important. The example I would give is, imagine if you borrowed $1 million today, one at a certain interest rate and one at a lower interest rate, and we were to pay off that loan tomorrow in one day. The interest rate becomes irrelevant in this, extreme example, but the issuance cost would be very important. Which one was the cheapest in terms of the sales method? So in the handout that Betty would have provided you today, I did a quick analysis of the proposal in front of you compared to a rated public sale or a bank placement through a brokerage firm. And we'll see over the 3-year period that all 3 options would probably provide a similar total payments. But the sooner that you pay this note off, the better the Minnesota Rural Water proposal looks like, simply because there's less issuance costs involved. I would also further say there's probably less administrative burden. It's a quick and easy process. So for all of these reasons, I felt like the Minnesota Rural Water MIDI loan was the suitable option. Please recognize, as a municipal advisor, by law, I have to represent your best interest over my own. So if I felt one of those other options was a better option for you, I'm legally bound to tell you so. But I'm very confident that what you're doing is a suitable option and will provide the best results. So with that, why don't I stop there and see where questions take us?
Do we have any questions moving forward? No, I think we're comfortable with the process that's been laid out. Does the council feel comfortable moving on? We have a motion and a second to move on for the municipal bonds. Okay. We have a motion and a second. The motion was by Councilor Holden. The second was by Councilor Buller. If we have no further questions, I'll call the question.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. And I'll vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. We appreciate your help and assistance in this process.
Thank you, Mayor. Our staff and the attorneys will be reaching out to city staff to affect the closing on September 1st. There is no physical closing. Nobody has to go anywhere. It'll all be handled through email and postal mail. And one final thought as I leave you, if you have additional needs in the future, recognize that Minnesota Rural Water programs are not limited to utility-related projects. So if you have street projects or building projects, you can certainly check us out for examples or options in that regard as well.
Greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. We will be moving forward on approving keeping City Beach closed for the remainder of the 2022 due to the flood damage. This was originally discussed in land use and legislation. It was brought to the committee of the whole for the entire council to understand what the situation is there. Betty, can you just give a real quick recap for I don't care, regardless. Please, Mr. Brokaw, can you give a quick rundown of why the council is making this action and why, even though it looks like it's safe, it isn't ready for public use?
I believe the beach is safe. There's an extremely large amount of sand, gravel, and playground mulch that got moved, and mixed in. It's kind of a delicate balance of you haul it all out, you haul new stuff in. The new playground that we put in there, the certified mulch has all got to go. There's a lot of sand with a lot of gravel that's mixed in. I actually met with the DNR and an engineer out there last Friday. The one good thing is the DNR we're far enough away from the ordinary high water mark that it really doesn't affect us trying to have to balance with the DNR with requirement. So we're working on putting together a scope of work. One thing that the Administrator Bertram can touch on, I think we can get financial help to clean this up. It may be more difficult to get funds to put it back together. So we're going to have to balance that as we start that process with some of the hoops we've got to jump through. We'll see what the scope of work's going to look like. All I told them was I guaranteed it to be open for next year, so we're going to get cracking on it. But this could, when in the budget time, this could cost us some money. So
Things that you didn't mention update was the parking lot. I know that was one of the first issues that we had. Just touch on what the situation is with the parking lot.
So on the south side of the parking lot, we, as the frost was going out, the water level was coming up. Some of the tandem trucks that went in there did quite a bit of damage to the south side of the parking lot. We're looking into that and what it's going to cost. The sad thing is the parking lot's in bad enough shape as it is. So, fixing the south half of the parking lot, the first 20 feet to the south side, nobody uses that. So, there's going to be, the one thing I did notice is now that we've gotten most of the sand swept off the parking lot of Cary Park, that's in bad shape. It's elevated a lot. We're going to try and get it cleaned up and get it cleaned up as best we can so we can get some pictures, some better documentation. I'm working with the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust. I filed a claim on City Beach. I'm going to do the same thing on Cary Park. That was one of the things that we need to do to be able to qualify for help. The agencies outside is to try and file an insurance claim. So I started that process. And,
Just to follow up, like Mr. Broca indicated, that we do in certain cases need to file through our insurance first. They need to come back and to either deny them or give us documentation in order for us then to start the process through FEMA and work through the flood program. So myself, Director of Public Works Broca, and the Fire Chief Manassa attended a meeting last week in understanding how do we now move forward with claiming and processing all the documentation that we have gathered and the expenses we've incurred. So we are working through that process with the county emergency management team, FEMA. We've got some of our data in, and I believe they're going to be scheduling a meeting with us in person to come up and help us understand how to totally complete our forms, our projects in the system, and get the most out of the resources that are available to us. So we will be working through those.
Ed, did you mention anything on the campsites? Were any of those damaged?
I wouldn't say the campsites are damaged. I was trying to figure out, we've been mowing and trying to work on the curb appeal, and I've seen this 5x6 treated frame sitting in some tall grass, and I was trying to figure, it was just totally relocated. And it looked like it was meant to be there. And when you finally started to put the pieces of the puzzle together, it had been moved about 40 feet due south of where it was actually supposed to be at. So the campsites are in good shape. We're talking about some of the material that we do remove from the beach area. We're probably going to fill some low areas in and then put some topsoil up. So we're not going to relocate all of the material. We're going to try and use it on site. But the sand's contaminated, and I say contaminated It's just, there's so much gravel and that type of stuff in it that, we're going to look at screening it, but, might be just better to haul smooth stuff in. So we're looking at all that.
Any questions? All right. I guess the chair would entertain a motion to approve keeping City Beach closed for the remainder of the summer.
So
We have a
Second.
motion by Councilor Beach, got a second by Councilor Holden. Any discussion? All the questions.
Aye.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next is approve appointing Kelly Myers as the LGU for the city and approving the natural resources service proposal as presented by Bolton Mink for Wetland Conservation Act administration. Chair would entertain a motion to move that forward.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilor Fuller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Kraus. Discussion? All the questions?
Aye.
And I will vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Next, Public Works recommendations. Authorize the completion of the preliminary design of 5th Avenue East and 15th Street Lift Station rehabilitation as presented by Bolton Mink. Chair would entertain a motion to move that forward.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilor Buller,
Second.
second by Councilor Bolden. It's in there. They just had to find it.
Oh,
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Aye.
I'll vote yes, motion carries 5-0. Any other business come before the council? Hearing none, we'll move to the reports of the administrator, attorney, and department head. City administrator.
I have nothing additional there.
Okay, we have city attorney.
Mr. Mayor and Council, been working with Chelsea a little bit on some transition issues and how that's going to work. Been doing a lot of preparation, criminal cases. This Thursday, I actually have 70 city criminal cases in court this coming Thursday. And so been preparing for those. Other than that, everything seems to be progressing smoothly. Still working on the draft development agreement for the multimodal and hope to have that done hopefully tomorrow. And that's it.
All right. Any questions for the city attorney? All right, we'll go to department heads. I see we have 2 in-house. Nothing. All right. In your packet, you'll see the monthly police report and the fire rescue EMS report for July. We'll go to the reports of the mayor, council committees, boards, and commissions. Anybody have anything? I just want everyone to know that on the 25th through the 30th, I'm going to be out of town. I did speak with the city administrator today. There is a possibility that next week we'll be able to interview some potential candidates for the clerk position that we have downstairs. And depending on how those interviews go, I may be calling a special city council meeting for the time that I'm gone to hire an employee. The reason for that is just for timing so that we can get them a little bit early so that they can be able to put in 2 weeks notice or whatever at their current job so that they can come over here and get them on board a little bit sooner. So I just want everyone to know that I will be out of town. I'll be available via email, text, and phone. And there is a good potential that there will be a special meeting. Joe has fast meetings, so it'll go really well. So
I have one thing.
please.
Went out to Green Tech today to look over the expansion out there and the work being done on the sewer line and stuff, and they're moving fast. Wagner's doing a good job. looks like it's going to be done pretty fast here in a few days. And then I sat down with one of the owners, Ryan Horn, and this whole thing, this expansion, is so great. They're producing, averaging 12 to 13 wood stoves, and after this is done, the building will be up next year, off and running. And they got like 3 robots. It's going to be part of the workforce. They're looking at 20 plus wood stoves every day being produced there, and they're getting good employees. Some of them are from PCA that are leaving PCA to go to Green Tech, and they've been filling spots. And said they're real happy about that. That's going good. So I enjoyed. I spent 20 minutes with them today. We sat down, talked, and we visited about the whole thing. It's exciting. Really is.
And I would love to expand on what you're saying. That's a great story, great international story. Local people coming in and doing business that they created here. I had an opportunity to speak last Wednesday at the grand opening for Cobblestone, and that's a little bit different. We have one local investor. We have international investors from Canada, and we have some investors from the American side, and they are very, very excited out there. They had the grand opening. They have been they've been full. He said that they thought that when they put their open sign, they might get a couple of stragglers in the door. And he said since they've opened their doors, it's like drinking from a fire. They have so many customers coming in every night, and they're very, very happy. And it seems like that is the narrative of where we're at in the community right now. We have businesses growing. We have businesses expanding. The one that our city attorney is working on right now for a developers agreement. I mean, there's really big things happening, and it's all pieces of the puzzle. I know Councilor Kraus has been helping us work with housing. We have a lot of stuff on our plate right now, and I think we so often want to just fix everything, and it's so difficult to just fix everything. But if you just pick away at pieces of it, now we have jobs, we have people that want to come in here and invest into our community. The next thing is housing. Now we have to start figuring out how do we get the housing stock to be where it needs to be. All of these are pieces of the puzzle, and I think we're plugging away at them one by one. So I'm very happy to hear that you stopped out there. There's many stories like that in our community. I think we're about to have a handful more as some things progress in our community. So thank you, Councilor Holden. I greatly appreciate that. Anything else? All right, we'll go to audience. In audience, anybody want to bring anything up? All right. In correspondence, we have 2 letters. One is the minutes from the Cooching County Board draft minutes, and a letter of appreciation from the Falls Education Foundation. Our next meeting is going to be on Tuesday, September 6th at 5:30 because of Labor Day. Labor Day picnic is that Monday. I know Mike will be there for certain. There's a lot of good things happening in our community. Without anything else, we will adjourn. Standing over.